Hello everybody. This is a 21 gallon air compressor that I purchased from Harbor Freight. Basically I just wanted the tank because it's 20 gallons to hook up to my other compressor. But it gets a little behind with some of my air tools, so the second pump will help it catch up. This is rated at 115 psi. I want to give a little review on some of these. I see a bunch of negative stuff because their products are very inexpensive. Sometimes the quality control is not that great on them. But this is rated at 115 psi. On this other side there's a safety valve. It's rated at 125 psi, so when my other compressor cuts off it blows the safety on this. So I've ordered another valve to replace that to keep it within a safe operating range instead of just capping that off. Let me read this label to you a little bit if you can't see it. This is rated at 4.9 SCFM at 90 psi, which is a respectable figure for a compressor. I compared the fill time to my other compressor, and it's within about a half a minute of it. Basically my other compressor cost me about $500, and it has a cast iron pump. This one's aluminum. It's got a sight glass for the oil. I don't know if you can see it, but it's really clear. There's a red dot in the middle, and there's about where my finger is, the oil level is right at the top of the red dot. I did another video earlier today where I've run this compressor for about 20 minutes with the air line opened up on it, and then I run it for close to an hour under pressure, and then I drained the oil out of it, and it was had a lot of metal shavings in it out of this cast iron cylinder. And this gets hot. This is actually a good design because it's got a nice shroud over the motor where it blows air across this piston, and this head gets really hot. And that's typical of any compressor. I saw some other reviews where people said they shouldn't get that hot, but every compressor I've been around gets screaming hot when you've been working them hard. Let me turn this around a little bit so you can see it, and I'll explain to you what I had to repair on it. This is nice because it's got handles on both sides of it. This is your tank gauge. It goes to 200 psi. This is your safety valve I was talking to you about. This little plug back here. It's a brass looking plug. Try not to cover it with my hand. But it just threads out of there, and you can buy them in any pressure you want. I ordered one that was 135 psi. I didn't want to get it so high that it could burst the tank and hurt somebody. This pressure switch right here, I had to take the cover off it because this gauge was saying 105 psi when it turned off. That wasn't then it would come back on around 70, and that wasn't high enough pressure to run any tools on. There's a small regulator here, and this is your line pressure gauge. So you can set this at 60 or 80 or whatever you need for a nail gun, or maybe an airbrush. Most of my tools run on 90, so I just run it wide open. Then there's a valve here to turn off the air supply. I don't know why you'd want to do that. But when I'm doing the braking on the compressor, I'll turn this off, or I'll turn it on all the way, and then I'll turn it back a little bit to slow down the airflow and just let the pressure build up a little bit slowly so I can get my hour of run time. So I'll run 60 psi on it for a little while, then I'll bump it up to 80 or 90 and just keep maintain it between 80 and 100 for the first hour of use, and then I'll drain the oil out, which is a very smart idea. This one holds almost a quart of oil. Most of them, my other compressor only holds like 6 ounces, and I bought one of their pancake units, and I've had it a little over a year, and it holds about around 6 ounces of oil. My daddy bought a pancake compressor, and he said it held about 12 ounces or 16 ounces, quite a bit. So they've changed their pump designs over the past few years. But I think this is a really good compressor for the money. The cord on it's a little bit light duty. It says that it needs a 20 amp circuit breaker. The filter over here, I didn't show that to you. I'm just going to take it out real fast. But it's a regular paper filter. It's not a piece of felt like some of the others have had in the past. Let's see. When you get this thing turned on, it'll wake the dead. I think it's as loud or louder than an oil-free design. But I bought this on sale in their retail store. It was $139.99 or something like that. I went down there to buy an 8-gallon compressor, and it was on sale for I think $99 at the time. And I figured that the larger tank size would serve me better, so I went ahead and paid the extra $40 for the big tank. And it also has a bigger compressor. Now I think it said to service this every 500 hours, which seems like an awful long time. But I had the pancake compressor for a while, and I've used it quite a bit. I run it pretty hard, and I haven't had any problems out of it. I just want to give somebody a positive review. I was watching a video earlier today where somebody started one of these up and didn't pour any oil in it, and wondered why it only made it to 60 psi and quit working. That was just being an idiot, I think. But the problem I had with this straight out of the box is the air pressure was set too low in here, and I turned that up. The pop-off valve on it is kind of underrated, so I ordered another one to put in there, and the drain valve on the bottom was leaking. And it was something to do with the threads. I had to run a pipe tap through it and clean all the gunk out of the threads, and now it's sealed down good. But I don't expect to have any problems out of it. You know, the biggest problem is on a startup, and like I said, there's some cheap manufacturing, but for $140, you don't expect to get a $2,000 compressor. And there's rubber feet on this. I don't know if you can see it, but down on the bottom there's rubber feet on there, so don't vibrate. In fact, the wheels don't even touch the ground, so it's kind of hard to roll around, which it's not made to be rolled around. I think hot dog style is the kind that push around a lot. I think this is to be stationary in the corner of your garage. I brought it in at night so it doesn't disappear, being as bad as the economy is. But overall, I think these are a decent unit for the money you're going to spend. Like I said, there might be some problems. Maybe some people would take it back to the store because the fitting on the bottom of the air tank was leaking. It was just hissing a little bit, and the pressure in here wasn't set right. It wasn't building up enough pressure to run tools, so maybe you'd buy this on an eBay auction and there's nothing wrong with it that a homeowner couldn't fix in just a few minutes. There's a big warning label on that switch not to tamper with it, but there's instructions inside it that tells you how to set it. There's a metal screw inside there. I turned it up about a half a turn, and that brought it up to about the right pressure. And you just want to fine tune it. You want to cycle it through the on and off a few times and make sure that it's acceptable. I didn't want to exceed the 115 that was on this label. I think I got it about 118 right now, which is acceptable. But I want to give you a good review on this. I've only had it a few days. If I have any problems, I'll do another video out of it, but I don't expect any problems because I filled this sucker full of synthetic oil after I did the break-in and got rid of all the metal fibers. And it should be a good unit. It should serve me well. Thanks for your time.